She was standing by my gate, pointing at my cabin like she owned it. "This is the one," she told a man in a suit, waving her hand as if she was giving him a grand tour. The man was holding a clipboard, peeking over the fence, smiling like he had already bought the place. I stepped onto the porch, coffee mug in hand, and yelled, "Can I help you?" She didn't even flinch. "Yes, you can move your stuff out. This property is now on the market." I laughed at first, thinking it was some dumb HOA mistake. But then I saw the sign she had stuck into the ground for sale. My address, my land, my cabin, with her name listed as the community representative. "Ma'am, this is my home," I said, walking toward the gate. She smiled, fake, tight-lipped. "Not anymore. The HOA has decided to sell it. We already have interested buyers." My grip tightened on my coffee mug. "Interesting," I said slowly, "because last I checked, the HOA doesn't own me or my land." She glanced at the realtor like I was being unreasonable. He whispered something to her, and she whispered back, "Don't worry, he won't be here much longer." That's when I noticed the lock on my gate, different from mine. She had changed it. I pulled my phone out, ready to call the sheriff, but then I stopped. A better idea hit me. Without saying another word, I walked back to my shed. A minute later, I came back with my own lock, a heavy chain, and a sign I had been saving for a long time. By the time they realized what I was doing, the gate was chained shut from my side, and a bright red sign hung on it that read, "Private property. Trespassers will be prosecuted." The realtor's smile faded. Karen's jaw tightened. "You can't do that," she snapped. I took a slow sip of my coffee. "Watch me." Karen's voice rose, sharp enough to wake the birds in the trees. "You are obstructing an official sale. I'll call security right now." She pulled out her phone and started dialing without breaking eye contact. I leaned against the gate, watching her like she was a bad TV show. "Go ahead," I said, "but make sure they bring real badges this time." The realtor stepped back, clearly regretting whatever commission he thought he was going to get today. "Ma'am, maybe we should," he started, but she waved him off. 2 minutes later, an old white SUV rolled up the dirt road, dust swirling behind it. 2 men got out. Uniforms, but no patches, no department names. One of them had a badge clipped to his belt, the kind you can buy on the internet for $12.99. "Sir, we're going to need you to open this gate," the taller one said. I took one long look at him and smiled. "And I'm going to need you to tell me, what law gives you the right to be here?" Karen crossed her arms. "These men are with community enforcement. They have the authority." I stepped closer to the fence, lowering my voice just enough for only them to hear. "See, here's the thing. I know real law enforcement. I used to train them. SWAT, sheriff's deputies, state police, and I know for a fact." I paused, letting the silence bite. "You two aren't on any roster." The fake cops exchanged a look, but Karen jumped in before they could answer. "You can't intimidate me with your stories," she barked. "Oh, it's not a story," I said, pulling my phone back out. "It's a live call to the county sheriff. You can either leave now or you can explain to him why you're wearing fake badges on private property." The taller man shifted on his feet. The other one muttered, "Karen, maybe we should." But she cut him off again. "No, he's bluffing." That's when a sound rolled up the road, low, steady, and unmistakable. The rumble of a county patrol truck. The patrol truck slowed to a stop right behind the fake SUV, its lights flashing red and blue against the trees. The real sheriff stepped out, broad shoulders, mirrored sunglasses, the kind of man who didn't need to raise his voice to be taken seriously. "Morning," he said, looking from me to Karen to the 2 men in their knockoff uniforms. "Somebody want to tell me why I'm here?" Karen jumped in before anyone else could speak. "Yes, this man is illegally occupying this property. We have a buyer ready, and he's blocking the sale. Also, he threatened my security officers." She motioned toward the 2 men like they were heroes. The sheriff's expression didn't change, but his eyes flicked to me. "Is that true?" I took a slow breath. "No, Sheriff. This is my land. She's trespassing. They're impersonating officers, and she changed my gate lock." I held up my phone. I have every second of it on video. The sheriff turned his head toward the 2 security officers. "Names?" he asked. They stuttered. One of them gave a name I knew wasn't real because I had trained a man with that name 5 years ago and he didn't look anything like this guy. The sheriff's jaw tightened. Badge numbers. Silence. Karen stepped forward like she could still control the situation. This is a private community matter, Sheriff. The HOA has full authority here. He cut her off with one sharp look. Ma'am, unless the HOA owns this man's deed, you have no authority to sell his home or change his locks. She froze for half a second, then smirked. Actually, I do have the deed. She reached into her bag and pulled out a folder, flipping it open like she had just played her winning card. The sheriff took it, glanced over the papers, and frowned. Huh, that's interesting. He looked at me. Because these documents say the property was transferred 2 weeks ago. My stomach dropped. I had never signed a thing. Karen folded her arms, her smug smile widening as if she'd already won. See? All legal. He's been living here for 2 weeks without owning it. The sheriff handed me the papers. My name was nowhere. Instead, there was a forged signature that barely looked human and a buyer's name I had never heard before. That's not my handwriting, I said, my voice low. Karen shrugged. Doesn't matter. County records already show the transfer. We even paid the taxes. I narrowed my eyes. With whose money? She didn't answer, just turned her gaze back to the realtor, who was now pretending to check something on his phone to avoid eye contact. The sheriff rubbed his jaw. This is serious. If these papers are fake, that's felony fraud. But I can't confirm that standing here. Karen jumped in, her voice rising. Fine. While you confirm things, he can pack up and leave. The buyer's already waiting to move in. I stepped closer to the gate. Not happening. Then I leaned toward the sheriff, keeping my voice steady but loud enough for Karen to hear. Sheriff, 2 months ago, I installed a new security system. Every visitor's car plate gets scanned. Every delivery, every walk-up. It's all logged with timestamps. And I have backups off-site. For the first time, Karen's confident expression cracked. You can't use that. It's a violation of I cut her off. It's my land, my cameras, my evidence. And if we pull the footage from the last 2 weeks, we'll see exactly who walked up to that courthouse with those papers. The sheriff's eyes narrowed like he was already picturing it. All right, he said. We're going to take a drive down to my office and check those records right now. Karen opened her mouth to argue, but before she could speak, a sleek black SUV rolled up the road. The license plate was covered, the windows tinted. It stopped just behind the sheriff's truck, and the man who stepped out made Karen go pale. The man closed the SUV door with slow precision, like someone used to being in control. Tall, clean-cut, wearing a tailored suit that didn't belong on a dusty back road, he walked toward us without a word. Karen's voice, which had been loud and sharp all morning, suddenly dropped. I didn't think you'd come in person, she stammered. He didn't answer her. His eyes went straight to me, cold but calculating. Then he turned to the sheriff. Officer, this doesn't need to get messy. We have paperwork. We have rights. Let's settle this privately. The sheriff tilted his head. And you are? The man pulled a leather wallet from his jacket and flipped it open. Not a badge, not an ID I recognized. Just a business card with a gold-embossed logo and the words Marlowe and Steele Holdings. I'd never heard of it, but the way Karen kept, glancing between him and the sheriff, told me she knew exactly who he was. I stepped forward. So, you're the buyer? His lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. Let's just say I represent interests that want this property urgently. My grip on the gate tightened. Funny because I don't recall putting it up for sale. Karen finally found her voice. Mr. Steele has connections. This is bigger than you think. If you just move out, you might even get compensated. Her words dripped with fake kindness. But her eyes were darting everywhere, like she was afraid of what might be said next. The sheriff's patience was wearing thin. Look, either this deed is legitimate or it's not. And until I confirm it, no one's taking a step past this gate. Mr. Steele's gaze locked on him. Sheriff, you have no idea who you're dealing with. I couldn't help myself. I laughed. Funny. That's exactly what I was going to say. Steele's expression shifted just slightly when I added, you might want to check whose name is on the original title, the one filed 20 years ago. The sheriff glanced at me. Original title? I nodded. Filed in 5. My father's name then transferred to me when he passed. I still have the certified copy. Safe, notarized, and stored where no one here can touch it. Karen scoffed. But her voice shook. That doesn't mean anything. Titles get updated. This one was updated. She pointed at the folder in the sheriff's hand like it was the ultimate truth, but her fingers were trembling. I leaned forward just enough so Mr. Steele could hear me clearly. Here's the problem with your plan. You bought a fake deed from someone who didn't own this place, and when that comes out, it's not me facing charges. It's you. The sheriff